All right. How's it going?
Marketing and go to market's harder than I thought it is.
What?
Just all marketing and go to market in general is just one of my
Ah,
weak spots. So it's like, oh, but it's going.
gotcha. Fair enough. Cool. All right. Let's jump into it. We can have you start in terms of let's just kind of like do a quick like a hard reset and just kind of give a quick update of where things are. I know last time you were talking about, you know, getting through like the waitlist signups and then getting another 50 waitlist signups, and then seeing just where the update is on that. And then let's come up with a new milestone to try to hit in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. So the goal was 30, ended up with a 50.
Okay.
A lot of those are friends though. So I say 10 are real. Real people randomly just came across it. The priorities this week, just getting the onboarding page cleaner. I need to redo the homepage to be a bit more adaptive. Just some other product tweaks to make that more usable. I'd say like willing to like to actually pay for it. Just wrapped up a lot of billing legal work. So that's all done now. And that took about a week and a half. That was a lot more than I expected. So it's more of, and then my main term goal is to turn on next Tuesday to just clean out that wait list now, see who converts into trial, then pay and paying period.
Okay. And how long's the trial?
14 days.
Okay. Got it. Cool. So in 2 weeks, you'll have people on the trial. So let's see the percentage in trial plus, um, I mean, I think you probably will have some engagement data
Mhm.
to potentially understand uh, if anybody's going to buy, right? At
Yep.
least I think like what we want to know by the next time is just like a projected conversion and
Mhm.
projected revenue, from this sample set, right? And then the following session will be, was it realized or not realized? And then trying to understand the reasons why it did or didn't,
Yep.
right? Is
Perfect.
that fair?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
marketing's not the strength, but data is. So fully instrumented, have post hog everything there. All the funnels are in place.
Okay, percentage in trial plus projected conversion slash revenue following milestone was projection realized. Why or why not? Okay, cool. I think Ilya, you haven't been on for a while, or I don't think we've heard
Yeah,
from you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, feel free to kind of give us, your 2 cents of where things are and why you
Sure.
decided to check back in again.
So basically, I was in Asia. It was
Yeah.
quite difficult to attend because of the time zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now I'm back to Europe, so I can continue
Okay.
if you don't mind.
Sure.
Yeah, so from my side, so yeah, I've been doing so basically I did pivot. So I had a kind of like personal travel dashboard, but and I ran a lot of testing, and for people it was super like geeky and quite technical and quite complex. So it didn't solve their problem. So I pivoted to a mobile app, very simple, and also did a lot of user interviews. If you remember, I was yeah basically that was my goal. And basically, I created an MVP mobile app based on that on those user interviews.
Okay.
And then I ran through the same people and also some additional people to understand if they like the new version. But I don't know, I don't receive really good signals about them being able to buy or like kind of some of them say that it looks cool and so on, but yeah, but I'm not sure they would buy it in by any means. Yeah, so right now I'm a bit confused because yeah, this version was based on some feedback from them actually, So I implemented all of that, and yeah, it's not what they want.
Okay.
So yeah, so now like last couple of weeks, I've been kind of thinking about another pivot or like what could I do with this. Maybe I'm thinking about like maybe pivoting back to a newsletter and like maybe giving it more focus writing, and then later like basically yeah collecting new subscribers, and then maybe through this newsletter I could sell some kind of tools or maybe related things, digital products. Like maybe it would be easier for me to understand based on metrics on interactions from subscribers what could be sold to them. Otherwise, yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I vaguely remember kind of like the audience you're targeting, right? And so, I mean, I think the first step is um, maybe taking a step back and like, what's your motivator here? Like, um, yeah, why are you trying to build stuff and um and what are you hoping to gain or what are you hoping what are you hoping to accomplish, right? Like, are you trying to make life easier for a certain particular audience? Um, if you are, why? Is it because you are the end user? You know what I mean? Or like, is it something you just keep hearing a problem about and then there's no good fix for it? Um, and then the main thing is I think like people will give you feedback, but I think the way that founders need to really think about how they collect the feedback is they got to be very aggressive and deliberate about like not just aggregating this data, but to understand like where do people just go off on a rant? Like what problem is such a high pain that they start talking for just like, you ask them one question or you figure out the right positioning of the question that they just go off for 10, 15 minutes, right? And I don't know if you kind of got those signals in the initial discovery. Um, you know,
Uh, yes. So my target audience is basically travelers who
yeah.
travel very often. And I was aiming to, yeah, and myself included, basically. And
Yeah.
I
So
was,
I probably I'm in that
yeah,
group, right? So I travel a lot. So tell me what it is that you'd
yeah.
be solving for me.
So when you go for a trip, you do a lot of research before you go. You are looking for a hotel, like your best flight, like whether you need a visa, let's say, or like some where to stay in the city, like some like logistics. And if you travel quite often, you waste a lot of time on this, like because you go through the same kind of steps again and again. So I was aiming to kind of automate this research, pre-research for a trip. Not this is not like a discovery problem, more like kind of automation, logistics, uh, time savings.
Okay. So are you combing websites to generate suggestions or how are you doing that?
No, I run like basically some AI agents in parallel. For example, to search for for the best hotels for these dates, for this city, for this neighborhood. Like another agent like runs a neighborhood search for like what's the best for your like preferences. If you're, let's say, on a business trip, then maybe you should stay, let's say, I don't know, in business center. um, and the same like for visa requirements and like for other parts of it. And then I combine the results and create a plan, basically everything on one page, like a few hotels, like like best fitted, like the best flight, like yeah, kind of trying to limit the choice because
Okay. And
like
then what did
yeah.
people tell this? So what you're saying is a lot of different things.
Yeah,
To
it
me, it's
is.
like a lot of different things, right? Because and I'll give you an example, right? It's like and I don't want to overkill this on time, but like for my personal travel, when I'm doing like personal travel, just exploring shit, like I'm on booking.com. And part of it is
Yeah.
for me to do the discovery is like Instagram, literally like seeing images, videos, right? And I'm just like plugging in a country or a city and I'm looking at the things of what I do. There's also an app. I don't rely on the app, but like I've seen other people use it where it's just like it's a very simple app that I think probably somebody like vibe coded that literally just says, I'm going to be here for this amount of days and it maps out an itinerary of the key highlights. And it's very easy for how to plan it. I mean, I've used it also to plan road trips on just Chat GPT. It's like I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna go visit here. Give me an idea of cities I should hit. And I did that when I went from Prague through Austria to Venice, right? And then back. And so I use that kind of as a roadmap. Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, for me to like switch from my process to like a different thing requires a huge amount of trust in that you're going to actually give me something that is going to be better than if I did it myself, or like,
Yeah.
is actually going to hit the preferences for what I need. You also mentioned visa. I had to get a
Yeah.
visa to stay here. That was a pain in the ass process. I tried to do it myself. I tried to leverage AI to figure it out for me. That didn't work. Like I would have, if I fully went forward with it on my own, I would have screwed myself over and I probably would have made it 2 times longer. I hired an agency to do it. It ended up being super easy. So you then the other thing is like you're gonna have to prove that somehow that you can be as effective in actually delivering, right? That than somebody actually like walking you through it. And for me, at the end of the day, like the um, differing answers that I was getting through the different AI tools, like didn't give me confidence that it was giving me a plan that's actually like substantive. And so having a human talk to me about it with a guarantee that like if I pay this fee that I will get the visa and if I don't they pay me back, that was like worth it, right? And then similarly when I needed to go find an apartment, like I used the agency because I just like when I went to try to do it myself on Facebook Marketplace, it's like
Hmm.
it's so hard to figure it out. And
Yeah.
it's you
Yeah.
don't know what's a scam and you don't know what's true. So those are all these barriers, right? And a lot of it just boils down to trust of like that you're actually going to deliver. So I don't know. To me, it would be like what you can't do is you can't burn anybody, right? Like you can't burn your users because if you burn your users, that's already going to create like on the App Store or whatever reviews is gonna it's just gonna be and I've seen apps that I've tried that they can promise on one of these things and it's like 1 star reviews because it's just somebody vibe coded some shit and just like doesn't deliver. And so if you burn them, that's a problem. Two is like if you can provide some kind of guarantee, meaning like some yes, they pay for it, but like you give them their money back if it doesn't deliver, right? Like that's something that also made it work for me. Two, three would be my idea would be like there's a bunch of Facebook like expat groups in every city that you can go to get these 2 cents of like where's your biggest pain. If you were to ask me like what I think out of all these things, probably you could focus on is probably the visa thing. Um, that's probably to me like one of the biggest pains that should be able to be solved for using AI. You probably have to have partnerships with somebody with some of these agencies that have like boots on the ground to actually like, you know, make sure that because I don't know. I mean, some countries is so super bureaucratic that it's like, I mean, like the government entity
Yeah.
doesn't have any like digital yeah, like everything in check is like it has to be it's paper documentation, right?
Yeah.
You got to go
Yeah.
get I have to go, like I have to go get a physical printout from my bank notarized of like my bank balance as part of the visa application, right? And it's like and then it's like I if I followed what was online, which I did, is like I got to go to the States, get an FBI printout of my background criminal history. But when I went through the agency, they're like, you don't actually need that. You just need to go to the embassy, and you need to get the embassy in Prague to like just sign something or like a printout. So all these little things is there differing information, right? And so, yeah, I don't know if that helps you, but I think at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's like that's your barrier of trust. And then I would just only pick one of those niches that you've you rattle off a bunch, right? Like either like personal business travel, be really, really good of like identifying the neighborhoods and like the recommendations, or do go really deep on the visa thing, or like again, like this is there's already apps that do this, but like do a really great job of like recommendation of itinerary.
No, no, that's a good point. I also discovered that basically travel is so complex that and all people they're super like it is super personal for
Yes,
everyone.
it
Because,
is.
for example, I know one person wouldn't book a hotel because he doesn't like the color of walls,
Yeah,
or something like that. So
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I wanted to, kind of commoditize, like like travel agents for like rich people, but for mass market maybe in
yeah,
some way. But yeah, it's more like multidimensional than I
yeah.
expected.
I mean, if you want, I would spend time in these expat groups. Every city has expat groups, right? And that's
Yeah.
probably a good source, like just to comb through them of like what are people asking for help with? And like if you can, I mean, even just like giving those links and feeding that into like AI, I feel like will give you some direction as to like potentially what to build. And then like when you have an idea of what to build, then I would just put a poll in one in these groups that you've already joined and see which ones people would be like, would you like something to do this for you? And would you pay for it? It's as simple as that. Like I don't think you have to overly complicate it. Because I'm in these groups. People complain all the time about different stuff.
But yeah, I mean the spectrum of
Yeah, yeah,
their
yeah. But you
compliance is super
that's why you
wide.
need to
Yeah.
sure, but that's why you need to take all of that, all those threads, and then analyze and they use the and then do a data analysis of like across all these different groups. And maybe again, like you're not doing the whole world, but maybe you focus on European travel, or maybe you focus on Asia travel, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe you start with a single country, you know, get really deep in something and solve for it because I do think also the preferences will be different country to country, or the complaints will be different, right? So, or by region. So I think that like it won't hurt you to figure even just like to focus on Thailand, like or even Vietnam. It would be like there's like probably like 10 cities of like different expat groups you can join and then just comb through it. Like I think if you just did that one exercise, it'll give you a lot of insight.
No, yeah, I'm a member of some groups like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I would love to maybe send you a test flight link if you could have a look just to maybe see my vision.
Yeah, I'll
I
take a
mean,
look
yeah.
at it.
Okay.
But the end result has to be the customer's vision, right? The user's
Yeah,
vision,
yeah,
right? So
absolutely,
it has to
absolutely.
make
Yeah,
sure it makes sense for them. So yeah, that's fine.
cool.
All right. So in the next 2 weeks, what would you want to do?
Uh, yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I'm a bit confused about this. Because, I mean, right now, so the app is in test flight, so it's pretty easy to go publish it to the general public. I was thinking maybe it's also another kind of blocker for people. They don't want to use test flight and do extra clicks. Maybe it would help it a bit. Mm, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I've been thinking that yeah, maybe I should kind of split this app into very tiny tools, tiny apps. Like for each specific problem.
Yeah, I mean that's what I would think is
Yeah.
gonna be the critical thing. I think you need that's what I would do over the next 2 weeks is like figure out what specific problem you want to solve first. I don't think it's a accessibility issue.
Hmm.
Because if it really did something like if you told me like it's in test flight, but it's going to solve your visa issue, like, and you guaranteed it, and you're like, I'm like, I'll down, and you're like, if it doesn't work, Chris, I'll pay you $1,000. Okay, right? If you felt
Yeah.
like that level of confidence for something that's solving a big pain for me, I mean, I would do it. But you have to have the confidence to be like, yeah, I'll pay you a
Yeah.
thousand
Yeah.
dollars if you get denied. Like that's how confident I am. And then I'll take care of
Yeah.
everything afterwards, right? Like to make sure you do get approved.
Yeah. But it's still MVP, though,
I
right?
understand, but like whatever
Yeah.
the MVP is, that's what I'm saying. It's like right now you're trying to promise so many things. It's going to be difficult for you to say with confidence any that you're going to deliver on all of them.
Hmm.
So, but that's what I'm trying to say is like what can you deliver with confidence, right? Like
Yeah.
one thing.
Yeah, like I in my head I thought that I basically could kind of take this complex process of travel logistics and create a unified solution. But yeah, it turns out it's not like how it works.
Yeah. No. I mean,
Yeah.
it's interesting, but that's just yeah, that's how it is. I mean, like some things just don't translate. And I mean, I
Yeah.
get that it's not about efficacy and it's not about optimization. Like I was doing like a VC pitch thing, like a startup pitch thing here in Czech, and I met a few VCs here, and like and I had a question. I was like, why don't you guys have like how come certain like US consumer apps translate here and other ones don't? Like for example, like a
Mm.
handy.com or like Angie's List, right? Like
Yeah.
they don't have a version of that here. There's been companies that have tried it, but it doesn't work. And I was asking the VC like why does it not work? And she's like because the service providers like the handyman and the plumbers like they don't care about customer service. They don't care about they're not trying to become the best plumber in the world. They're not
Mhm.
trying to start a chain of other plumbers like of like having people working for them as contractors, right? Like they're a plumber. They make XYZ by having certain customers and then they just rely on those customers to keep coming back. And they just and it's just because when something breaks, they go fix it. The mentality is not these apps for that specific industry is like requires a capitalistic mentality that they just don't have here.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was eye opening for me too. But like, I think sometimes that's some things like people like just because it sounds good on paper doesn't mean it's going to translate to the user. And even if you can prove
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
efficacy of it, doesn't mean the user cares. You know, it's
Yeah.
something. It's food for thought, right? It's like I thought like, oh yeah, that makes sense because but it doesn't translate. These service professionals just don't care about like, yeah, they're not
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
make 100 grand a
Mhm.
year. They don't need 100 customers. Like it's just that's the mindset. It's so different. Anyways, hopefully that helps you.
Yeah, I mean, like the same, a very similar example is that I'm technical. I'm a software engineer by profession, so I'm also, have some kind of vision about the product.
I understand.
Maybe yeah, too technical, but
Yeah, I get
customers
it.
always want like super simple, super, I don't know,
Yeah,
like primitives,
yeah,
sometimes.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I would just try to focus on something narrow that you could
Hmm.
like whatever you're gonna solve for, make sure you have the confidence that you would back it up with a like you would pay them if you fuck it up.
Yeah.
You have
Okay.
to have that level of confidence, even if you're not gonna offer that. Like you have to have that level of confidence. Like if I can't deliver, I will pay you money because I know it's gonna be wasting your time and I'll make it right. It's got to have that level of you have whatever. If this goes for everybody, like whatever you deliver, you're saying you're gonna deliver, you need to be able to like back it up with that.
All
Cool.
right. Well,
Um,
thanks a lot.
no worries. All right, Kathleen, I think you're next on here.
Hi, sorry about that. So yeah, I mean, I've asked, so the last thing is like have two more demo calls. I actually have. I did a couple since then, and I have another one scheduled for tomorrow actually. And so far, it's kind of like what I've experienced is that like, some people are coming in, like they find me by me booking through link, like me posting on LinkedIn, which is like great. That means like there's some kind of pull. We have the call, and then they're just like, they don't really like commit. And so, I've been about, I feel like I've been doing this for like 2 years now, just like evaluating the sales script, what's going wrong. And, I'm not too, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I've kind of understood like where people are coming from, especially with the market, is that you can't just, unless you have a really great, like, you know, you have a VC backing you, you have a lot of famous customers. It's really hard to go in at the first call and be like, hey, this is our pricing, this is what we command, unless like, the pain point's super painful, which I guess it's not. So, I have been for the past couple months building an AI CFO, which basically is a tool to help you keep accountable for your financial goals, connects to your banking information, and lets you know what your numbers are, like straight up every day. And then with the AI CFO, you not only have your financials visibly available, but also you have a tool helping you keep accountable for your like, goals, like if it's revenue targets, if it's cutting burn and things like that. And so I've spoken to some people, just like, founders that I know and things like that, and like they're interested. So I have like a small informal wait list for that. And so my goal is for next 2 weeks, like, just get it out. I have it built as an extension, which is really great because you could still do regular work and keep the tab open. You don't have to go to a separate website or anything like that. And just really refining the tool to make it better. And yeah, but so far I've been talking with people about what kind of reporting they're looking for, what kind of help they want. And I think what I'm most excited about it is that I get to talk to a wider customer segment, not just logistics businesses, but also like tech businesses. And I've actually spoken to some industrial businesses too. They're not necessarily logistics, but they're industrial. And that's what my call is for tomorrow. It's this person that is essentially a fractional CFO for this industrial rental equipment business. And so he really wants automation around depreciation. And so we're going to see how I could be helpful, connecting to the ERP and everything like that. So there's definitely a path to monetization with margin. My thoughts are AI CFO as an entry point, be helpful, start getting some data on like customer profiles that would be useful for, and then like upsell to the more to the businesses that need further integrations with like an ERP. And that's like where the money is, because compared to like something like Anthropic, which connects to bank accounts, or like Claude, like connecting to the ERP is the most important. So yes, and there's a lot of AI CFOs, 100% sure.
Yeah. I mean, my question would just be like, yes, there's a lot of AI CFOs there. I know that there's one also for startups specifically, but like, I mean, I would go, I mean, so this is kind of like a pivot from the logistics software, right?
It's an expansion. So the idea is that I'm not completely like shutting down the, AI billing for logistics. It's just that I'm applying the technology elsewhere. But the thing is like I want to start working with businesses to see how this like basically vibe code, financial workflow tools could work with them. So the AI CFO is an entry point for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
My only thinking would be like go into a vertical where, somebody's not attacking. And um I just feel like maybe the logistics or like manufacturing or like um something where it's like super like it's more niche where like there are going to be financial line items that's so specific to the industry that
Yep.
that would be kind of like your moat to just a catch-all AI CFO software, right? Or like AI
Yeah.
CFO.
Yeah, and the
Um,
functionality doesn't end with them though. Like, but the idea is that like there's just the velocity of getting feedback and working with customers is so slow that I just want to open up and work with different types of customers.
I understand. So I don't know if it's going to expedite it, but I mean, again, like I would you totally try that avenue
Mhm.
as a Trojan horse into kind of the account. And if it's again something that you can offer fairly cheaply because the compute is low for you or like the cost of servicing is low for you and use that as like a PLG kind of deal, sure, do that, right? Like again,
Mhm.
find the thing that you can deliver high value at the lowest cost so
Mhm.
as to build the trust, right? And then
Yeah.
upsell other stuff.
Yeah.
So as long as you do that is the initial thinking. And then to me, again, like finding, going in narrow and niche in a niche where like, again, certain you are AIS CFO for this industry. You know what I mean? Like just so that they don't just feel, like you're just trying to capitalize on everything.
Yeah.
But that you have some depth around the product. The other thing I would just say too is like, it seems like you've talked to a number of companies already, but you're just not getting them into the bottom of the funnel and converting them to customers.
Mhm.
I don't know what that list is, but maybe if you just shortlist that, or like, do you know like what the total count would be around now? Like having pitched for like the past year or two?
I mean, probably in terms of calls, probably at least like 50 calls at this point.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. I mean, like, if you have a list of those 50 calls, I would make it also just like a priority at some point, like to like just get an answer as to where they got stuck and be like, what I mean? And a lot of those times, again, I just do hey, I'm a startup founder. I'm just trying to take the humility approach, pay them for a cup of coffee, and just be like, can you just give me 5 minutes, or just even respond back with why we dropped the ball, what I did to drop the ball.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll consider doing that. I could send an email for that.
Like, I mean, to me,
Maybe.
that's equally as important because like you don't know at the end of the day if it's the product, if it was the way you pitched it, you're assuming it's like some of the social proof stuff. Like I don't know if anybody deliberately said to you, like, well, I don't trust you. I don't know if what your company does, or like, you
Mhm.
know,
Well, I've heard them say like, "Oh, well, I want to know like how long have you been doing this?" Like, they don't want like no one wants, at least from my impression, no one wants to have like a new player deal with
okay,
their
but no one is like encompassing of all ones, right? So like 50 out of 50 said that.
I would say so, yeah. They usually ask me like how long have I been doing this? So,
And so
and
you,
also
so is
at
that,
the end of the calls, they, or the email, I get a reason why they decided not to go generally. But I could always ask again. I could check in and see how they're doing. Like for this one, I had a call on Friday, and we have a call scheduled for next, I think like next week or next week, because he says he wants to do research into more billing tools. So I don't know if it was like a price thing. We were talking about pricing
Yeah.
a lot.
So at the end of the day, what I would do, and this is what I do all the time for myself and for any time we are getting stuck in the sales process, is we literally will go back to the last 60, 90 days of calls, or the
Yeah.
last 60, 90 days of like customer discovery, and we will get an answer for as many of those that we've had in the pipeline. So usually at that point, it'll be like 150, 200. And then we will do what it takes to get usually like 70, 80% responses. And then we will look at that and bucket all of those 70, 80 responses into 4 or 5 buckets of
Okay.
like of objections.
Okay. So bucket
And
the
then
object.
that way we know statistically speaking what the reason is, so we can solve for that. And then we prioritize A, B, C, D, E. Or usually it's A, B, C, and the D and E is just does it's too scattered. But A, B, C we can solve for. And then it usually every quarter, like we run through that exercise because we look at where things are dropping off, and then we will then work on solving for that, and it bumps up our numbers every quarter, at least in the initial run.
All
And
right. Thanks.
we have to do that to understand the reason why, you know, 80% of our deals don't close, right?
Okay.
Even though that's industry standard, we want to be better.
Yeah, sure. I could definitely ask like like I said, some of them have replied in emails to why, they decided no, but I think there's definitely a couple that have just like kind of like ghosted. And so it's
It's
probably
also the other part of it is the doing the statistical analysis, right? Like doing the data analysis to make sure that you quantify the reason. So you can
right.
come back and be like, Chris, I had out of those 50 calls that I had over the past couple of years, 40 got back to me. 30 of them said this reason, five
Okay.
said this reason, five had random reasons. And this is
Yeah.
what they are.
Okay.
The 30 out of the 40 that said this, I think I can solve for this. Or like this is giving me the reason why I'm doing the AI CFO. Right? Like at the end of the day, Because if it's a social proof thing where it's like they're asking you how long you've been doing this, that's something you can bullshit over. Like if that's really it, that's something around how you get coached on sales.
Mm-hmm.
Because every startup runs into that problem,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I'll get those numbers. So I think for in terms of the accountability for 2 weeks, get the breakdown of why people have passed, and then release that AI CFO and get some feedback. I'm not too concerned right now on monetization, but definitely putting a cap on like spend because it's supposed to be like a product-led growth kind of feature. Like billing and setting up the charge rules, it's not trivial. It's not something that you could do in
I
like
understand. I mean, getting product stuff out doesn't seem to be a problem. I mean, I'm not worried. Getting stuff out now today in this world is like not an issue. It's to me, it's like the go to market, making sure that you're actually building something that people are going to use and have value,
yeah,
like pay for. That's the hardest part.
yeah. Okay.
Cool.
All
Awesome.
right, thanks.
Well, we'll hit up, I think just we got Busola, and then we'll do Pablo and Thomas.
Hey, Chris. Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. So my task was to speak with
10 more
brokers,
brokers.
with 10
Yeah.
brokers. I actually spoke with two brokers during that time. And basically, and the reason for that is I've now moved from social media videos on TikTok to actual, sorry, I've moved from social media videos on TikTok, trying to build a wait list, to actually now being very close to starting beta testing on the MVP. So I've spent a considerable amount of time on the MVP, so we're close to beta testing on that. And the reason for that is that I believe I'll be in a much stronger position when talking with brokers, to actually tell them, look, we have an actual product, then we have an idea, and this is what we're trying to do. So tell them we actually have a product. This is what it does. Can you please put this in the hands of the people who come to you? So, like I said, I'm very close to the beta testing. Once that's done, I'll resume my conversations with brokers and realtors. Another big win, I guess, also during this time was I was able to have a meeting with the CEO and founder of a capital management company. He's an old friend. So we sat down for about an hour. I shared what I was building with him, and he provided a lot of feedback on how to refine the app in such a way that it will appeal to the younger generation. He also asked a lot of questions about moat, what my moat is, how we plan to acquire users, the cost of user acquisition, and also how we will generate revenue. And then he said he'll put me in touch with his tech lead, so that if there are any feature iterations that need to be made, they can be made very, very fast.
Okay.
So yeah, I just feel rather than having a kind of high level conversation with brokers, or this is what we're doing, this is the idea, is actually better if we tell them, look, this is the website, this is the MVP. We've done beta testing, or we're in the middle of beta testing. Can you please put this in the hands of your users, in the hands of renters? And we actually plan, I don't know whether you think that's a good idea or not. We plan to really, really leverage the relationship with realtors and brokers to bring users on board.
Okay. I mean, you need to prove that you can do the conversation, get the conversations with the brokers and realtors first,
Yeah,
right? Because you targeted 10, you spoke with 2. I
yeah.
get you shifted your to the beta. I mean, that's fine if it gives you more confidence in when you're pitching, but like again, it's not going to solve for the fact that you got 2 instead of hitting 10. Like, yeah, it's because it's more like 3 weeks. And so to me, it's like you could have gotten 10 plus done the beta. But I think like again, get the beta out, great if that gives you confidence, but you still need to prove that you can get to when you say you're going to do 10, you can get 10, right?
Yeah,
You need to have
absolutely.
you need to have control, or you need to be able to pull on certain levers in order for you to prove to yourself that you can get the number of brokers, you can get the number of realtors, because the conversations doesn't mean that they're going to get you the users. It just means that you had the conversation. You still need to figure out from conversation to like how many will actually refer users is a different story.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But again, like we're going to go back to this, right? Once you have the beta up of
Okay.
proving that you can consistently get the number of brokers or realtors into your pipeline. And then you need to then look at how many can you convert to refer. I mean, it's just the B to B to C, right? So then it's going to be
Yes.
like you're adding another step. So we'll see how that goes. But just know that when you go B to B to C and you add another step, the less and less control you have.
Well, it doesn't mean we're going to stop the direct conversation with the renters. We're still going to keep doing that as well.
I get it, but now you're spreading yourself thin. Like it just
Yeah.
at the end of the yeah, I'm saying like at the end of the day, you gotta pick and choose certain lanes because you're limited in resources, man. Like you don't have the time to do. You can't even get 10 conversations. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna tell me you're gonna talk to brokers and
Yeah.
realtors and renters. You're gonna do all three just because you have the beta out. I don't believe it because it hasn't been proven,
Mm.
right? So do that. Hopefully it gives you confidence, but you got to go back to the drawing board to figure out like how you're going to tackle each of these at a time. The in-person thing, like going to the events stuff seemed to work for you in the very beginning,
Yes, it did. It did.
right?
Yeah.
So like I would figure out how to go back to that, map that out so that once you have the beta ready, that you're going back to these events again. And you need to make it a goal to hit a certain number.
Okay. Okay. So, I mean, I'll shoot for 10 again by the time we meet next time.
Okay.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.
You get the point though, right? Like I'm not
Yeah,
trying
I
to
understand. I understand.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
not trying to like down you. I just want to make sure you understand it. And I get the beta thing, but like that hope, like the beta is not going to be the solution. If
Yeah.
anything, it gives you the confidence to pitch better, right? But it's
Yes.
definitely not going to be the solution. Like it's not going to be, I guarantee you it won't be the thing that the end users end up using,
Hmm.
right? Like it's just the reality. It's like the moment somebody gets in, like Ilya built something, now it's like, now I got to get people, it's what people said, but then it's like, then they won't use it. Like, there's all these little idiosyncrasies that you have to solve for along the way, and it's breaking up into baby steps. So it's not going to just managing expectations is not going to be this huge unlock, but I'm just hoping that it gives you confidence to speak better about the product.
About the product. Yes. Yes. And I also get the fact that if I say I'm going to talk to 10 brokers, irrespective of everything else going on or me building the app and getting beta testing done, it's important to talk to 10
Yeah,
brokers.
because
Yeah.
that is your go-to market. That's never going to change, even when you
Yeah.
have a product, even when you have the perfect thing. Like it doesn't matter,
Yeah. Absolutely.
right? Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it.
Yep. Pablo,
Hey, what's up, Chris?
going
Uh,
on?
so two things from my end. We're gearing up to do our Series A at the end of this
Yep.
year, and I've been digging into the numbers, and
Yep.
our churn rate is, I feel, too high. We're SMB, if you remember
Yep.
ICP. We some months we were at 3%. Some months we're trending closer to 5%, and our net revenue retention is sitting around 96 to 97%. Um,
Mhm.
Given, like, I think the investors are going to be basically asking questions. I'm trying to basically preempt that and or try to fix those numbers. In your experience in SaaS, um, how much do you think I realistically can get those numbers down? And is there any levers or experiments or things I can do to either activate people better or improve notifications, messaging, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the first thing is, do you know why they churned?
Yeah. So in surveys, 25% of them kind of just gave up on their business. So
Okay.
kind of like hard to get that. The other 25% said that they were missing a core feature that they wanted. Another 25% said they didn't get the value they were looking for. And then the other fourth, I think it was just like no reason or potentially no attribution was made. So could have been an unintentional churn
Okay.
or just like not that engaged with the product.
Okay. So a couple things to note. Number one, if they go out of business, that's not considered churn,
Okay.
VC perspective, right? The other thing is,
Do I need to change my metrics to reflect that? Because it affects my revenue, right?
yeah,
Like maybe adjusted churn.
it could be adjusted churn or you just remove them entirely from revenue. Like,
I see.
the other thing is like it like also if you if it's somebody that you can refund, like
Yeah.
give back the revenue,
Yeah.
right? Then you can also then not consider it churn,
I see.
right?
So you
So
just don't
that
count it basically.
yeah, you just don't count it, right?
Yeah.
And so, uh, but yeah, you have to you have to prove that you did that. But from a VC perspective, they don't consider that as churn.
I
So
see. Okay.
like there's ways to make it more attract well, it's not even making it more attractive, but it's making it so that it doesn't uh
Set off red flags or
you set off red flags or
yeah.
you're kind of like de-risking the investment, right? So it's like that's how I would look at it. So spend some time thinking like going into that, like and but that's yeah, there's ways for you to readjust the numbers to lower churn based on some of that information. So even if it cuts it by 50%, that may
That's a lot. Yeah.
yeah, put you in a healthier position by a lot. So something to think about. And then like I mean, if you can show it on a timeline, like of how you're getting churn to be zero or like or again, I don't know if there's expansion possibilities, but then it's like, then you go start to get to like 100 something percent of net revenue retention, right? So um
I
yeah.
see. So basically, going backwards and using basically cohort data to understand where customers usually are in the cycle, and then forecasting that out to be like, if we did these things, like this would save this many customers.
Yeah, exactly. And like as much of you can put that into real, if it's like end of the year you're raising, then it's like,
Yeah.
trying to solve, yeah, for the leaky bucket as much as possible now. And yeah, that would be ideal while also improving those numbers.
So when it comes to like every time someone asks me to build a new feature, what like filter do you think I should like apply that through? Because, obviously every customer wants to be given the world. And I wish I could build everything they want, but I would prefer to save them if I can, but I also can't, do a whole bucket list of like 10 new features. So like what do you think would be the best way that you've seen teams handle, roadmap and or like prioritization of those asks?
It's really trying to get, again, this is like, I mean, it's the product market fit thing, right? It's like
Hmm.
I mean, what I mean by that is like you need to have a widget of your entire feature set that like has true PMF. And
Hmm.
that is that we accept all the pains and problems or the higher cost of all the other shitty stuff because it solves for one thing
Mm,
that
I see.
that we always need, right? If I think about like, you know, yeah, like tools like that I keep using that I hate a lot of I hate 90% of it, but I keep subscribing because I need a certain core functionality.
Yeah, I
The
see.
example is like instantly I always need something to keep my warming up emails just because I need that. I know there's a bunch of others that I could switch to, but like I just keep using it because I need a specific functionality of it. It comes out with all these other things, these AI things, and I try some of it. It's crappy, it doesn't do it, doesn't do it, it eats up all these credits and it doesn't deliver something. And I'm like, fuck, that's stupid. So
Yeah.
then I don't use it for any of those things anymore. And I just purely just know that it does this one thing, but that's what prevents me from churning.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that for us, our core thing is online booking for small rental businesses.
Yeah.
because that's like keeping money flowing in the door. And like that's the crucial thing where we've like simplified and improved that process. It's almost like Stripe. What would Stripe be without, Link or the
Yeah.
online checkout,
Yeah.
right? It's almost
So
like the
just
same for
making,
our product.
yeah, making that as sticky as possible for them, right?
Hmm.
And then similarly, like if I try to unsubscribe from something, they always do that where it's like, the churn prevention, which is like, well, what is the reason why you need to go? And it's like, is it
Yeah,
pricing? Is it this missing something? Blah, blah, blah. And if it's like a pricing thing, it's like, well, what if you got this? Like
I see.
a lot of times they'll give you like 1 month for free, or they'll give you like, 50% off the next month or something like that. So there's stuff that you can do in that process too before like they say goodbye. Like
Yeah,
just, you know, just to
as like
prevent
a last hurrah, basically.
last
To try
hurrah,
to
but
catch.
like it's really like again, like understanding why they're going to turn. And it's
Mm.
like, well, before they do, they tell you the reason why. It's like, well,
Mhm.
what if we did this for you, right? And
I
again,
see.
a lot of these subscriptions are just doing it in the automated version, which is like, okay, you want to cancel, but before you can cancel, you have to explain the reason why. And
Yeah,
so, like, you've all, I think we've all seen this, right? Like,
yeah,
you have to choose the reason why it prevents you from actually canceling it. So you have to go through the 3, 4 steps before you can actually cancel. Obviously, if there's certain ones where you're just like, I don't realize the value anymore, you fucking just blast through it and it's like that, and you just can't get to the cancel thing. But a lot of things will keep popping up with like these different offers, at least with like last stitches, 4 to 5 steps before you can actually get through to cancel.
yeah,
Right. So I think like by doing something just, even like slightly similar, it's going to allow you to one, capture why they're truly churning, two, at least like automate some of the ways to get ahead of it. Three, if they just like go all the way blast through the thing and it's like that's the person that is fully canceling, like, you can have somebody call those ones, right? But
yeah,
it's probably going to be less than it's going to be probably like only the 20 to 25% now, and then the rest of the 75 you already fully know, and you did something at least to get ahead of it. And
yeah.
maybe again, you're going to get, 25%, 30% to not churn from just doing that. And you might still need somebody to call in on the other ones, but like, yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay, awesome. That's really good. Last question would be, gearing up for that fundraise. I have secured some in-person VC meetings in San Francisco. Um, how do you think I should approach an in-person meeting? Because like up until this point, I've only done Zooms, to be honest with you. Um, so I kind of don't even know what to expect. I don't know if you have any background on how it's different, if at all.
I mean, it's all the same. I mean, it's probably a little bit, for me, I would, again, like, depends on your skill level, but like me in person is so much better than Zoom. Like,
Yeah,
but it all goes back just to like confidence. I mean,
yeah,
you just need to know the numbers backwards and forwards. You need to know the business, backwards and forwards. You need to know why this is like a sound investment backwards and forwards. You got to sell yourself on the entire thing of like, why you would get everybody in your family onto this
yeah,
round, right? Like you got to come at it like that, right? And that level of excitement will then just carry over into the in-person meeting.
yeah. It becomes infectious because you're so excited and confident.
Yeah, and I think that's really the difference, like, and the fact is, you have a business, you know what it is, when you speak it with like, I mean, when I remember going to Raise, like, and speaking about like why customers are excited, why I'm excited to build this thing, what we started to see, how customers are using it, like just the things that you can be like giving, yeah, just giving those nuggets of like why this is going to be so critical for this industry and specifically for customers and real feedback from customers. Like, you know, if you can collect that as part of it, great. Or if you can even call a customer, like, on like I think that's
Yeah,
great too. Like, don't take my word for it. I got a speed dial, blah blah blah. Like, talk to Pablo real quick, and he can share with you what we did. Stuff like that. I think like help you stand out, and it's just like, and it doesn't. And I think like VCs nowadays are also just trying to like, just cut through the fluff. So the more you
yeah,
can like, if you can like bring up the due diligence process like in the pitch to me, like where they're gonna call your customers anyways, right? It's like, so if you're gonna be like funnel something up like that special, that's cool.
yeah. Okay,
Like
cool.
don't run away, don't be scared of like stuff. Like bring up what you think they're gonna ask and get ahead of it. And like if you can even do like I mean, that's a good one, I think. Like if you literally can call up a customer and be like, have them speak your praises for you.
Yeah, that
That,
speaks so highly. Yeah.
yeah, that's probably like a slam dunk for you to invest. That goes for everybody. Like find ways to do that. Like, stand out. It just shows that you're not running away, right? It's like you're not just raising money for raising money. It's like people are seeing value.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate it.
Cool. Hey, Thomas.
Hello, hello.
Hey, hey.
All right. Since last time I two goals. One was onboarding, and restarting GDM, and then also finding a co-founder, a
Yep.
technical co-founder. I had a great call with the technical guy. He
Yeah.
actually was a technical co-founder on a YC company that ended up doing quite well. He left about a year into it. He kind of walked me through it a little bit, but um, yeah, it's the best conversation I've had so far, and he seems like he knows his stuff. So I'm going to keep that slow burning. I shouldn't say slow burning. Keep building that and see if it's the right fit. Um, the onboardings are still painful. It's kind of where I've been focusing on from a feature side. Is it's really just getting people say like my background has got a high level of sales, so they sign, they're in, they're excited, and then it's just like getting them to actually do the work of the onboarding is like pulling teeth. So a lot of what I'm trying to focus on right now from a feature set is how to make it as painfully simple as possible so that they have to take the least actions. Um, and then I've restarted my emails, cold outreach, and doing a little bit more work on that side as well, so that once these two are good to go, I have something next to move on to for onboarding.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's where like the onboarding, customer success, check-ins, support tickets, I feel like those are like agents can be really useful. I don't know if you want to even explore like Intercom has more of like I mean, it used to be just a chatbot, but they now have like an AI agent, and they
Mhm.
rebranded, I think, a little, I forget what is.
It's got a name. I know what you're
Yeah, it's
talking
got
about.
a name, but I mean, again, like if you don't want to build it in OpenClaw or you don't want to build it in Claude code or what have you, but like it's
Yeah,
those Claude code and some of these are getting so damn good, like out of the box that you literally can just give it an email address on a separate, you put even in like Docker, like so it's gonna contain sitting even on your primary computer and like
Hmm.
work out of that. But like I would do stuff like I like that to kind of like help troubleshoot because a lot of these things, in my experience, like onboarding is just like it's not even like a super technical thing. It's just like them allocating time to doing something and being nudged enough to get it done, right?
Yeah,
And so
that's
it's like
exactly it.
yeah, so it's like reminders and like, did you do this yet? If not, like in creating urgency triggers, etc. Like yeah,
Yeah, that's so my brain went the same place as yours. So what I'm started working on the weekend was an agent that will do some of the chasing. But my goal is what I'm realizing is that people want to message and be like in their ecosystem. So what my goal is that I can add a Teams bot so they can just like do the onboarding, answer the questions in Teams where they
sure.
are. That's
Yeah,
kind of my V1 of what I want this to be because it's the email slash setup calls that is the real like blocker. And then it's
yeah,
hard when you're in a set call to
yeah,
like go through all the issues because they come up live as they're using it and they want to
yeah,
be
yeah.
able to just message something and get a quick response. And a lot of it is very low complexity, but so that's exactly what I've started working
Okay,
on.
cool. Good deal. All right. Working on. Okay. Cool. Caroline, I'll give you some time if you have anything you want to update us on, or if you just want to just chill and keep stand by, and it's up to you.
Yeah, no big updates. I'm just finding my way back. I took a pretty long break from building. Initially it was, to get customer
Yep.
insights. And then the last month I took off to kind of regroup and deal with some personal things. So I'm looking forward to getting back to building.
Okay.
And that is my goal. I don't have anything specific, but I'm going to start building between now and next time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool, guys. Sounds good. Next week, I'll do I'll do another workshop session with some real use cases, and I'll run through how I'm using my AI agent. Uh, I can, yeah, I'll run through it, but I mean, like a real quick example is like we have it set up to start generating like email templates. So this is kind of like probably helpful for I don't know if you already left Thomas, but like we're literally having it set up templates for us to start doing cold campaigns. And we started connecting it to our backend, giving it all the AI API endpoints it needed to do it. So I'm running with it. Like the main thing that I've taken away is that you have to treat this thing as like a 5-year-old with a high vocabulary, right? In the sense that it can bullshit its way to making you think that it's done all this stuff, but you need to be like a 5-year-old, keep checking in and like, did you really do it? Show me that you did it, prove to me that you did it, verify that you did it, and then make sure that I can keep doing it again and again and again. And you kind of have to just helicopter over it for a while until it gets it done. But yeah, this was like it's coding these and pushing it into our templates. We didn't touch it. It generated all these on its own. These are all, let's see, this is plain text. This is, yeah. And this is not format. It doesn't format this way when you send the test, but this is kind of what it looks like. And so it's reading our data to of like historical like reply rates, open rates, etc., for it to then generate these iterations. And then the idea is for it to the next step is we have access to our user list or our database, so we can start sending it out. I'm gonna play around with it today to start doing it, but ultimately I have to walk it through each of these steps until it can document all of them to run it autonomously, right? So I think just I'll run through some of these things of what we're doing. I'm also using it for meta ads and I'll show you guys how it's plugged into the HeyGen CLI, so it's generating its own videos and all that stuff. But yeah, share some of these practical use cases and hopefully that'll also be useful for you guys. Cool.
Very cool.
Good
Thank
deal.
you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.